Lumi. So just to give you a little bit of background around what we're doing here today. So my name's Hanif. I'm from New Perspective. We are a gateway organization. We're working with the Department for Work and Pensions to create hundreds of Kickstart job placements. And these are 6-month job placements, paid opportunities for 16 to 24-year-olds who are claiming universal credit. We're literally working with hundreds of employers, hundreds of vacancies. And today we're really kind of, happy to be joined by one of those employers. And that's the Lumi network, who do amazing work. And I'm a huge fan of theirs. So first off, let me go over to Prashant, who is the chief boss man of Lumi. Prashant, thanks for joining us. How are you? Oh, I can't hear Prashant. Can everybody else hear
Yes,
him?
no, I think you can. So first of all, thank you very much, everybody, for inviting us to this wonderful event. And as Hanif, you introduced me, I'm Prashant. I'm the founder of Lumi, and this really is an opportunity for us to engage with the young minds here in another forum, because Hanif, is it okay if I just give a quick overview of what Lumi is?
That would be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is Lumi? Lumi is actually a youth-led movement. And when I say that, I mean that Lumi is actually now come about just in the last 1 year. It has come about due to the pandemic, but it has come about to solve two big problems for young people. And one is that they need more and more um, interdisciplinary, kind of real world challenge based learning. And the second is that they need to be involved in helping shape the future of this planet, which we all know probably is not going in the right direction. I think the pandemic is an example of that. And what does that mean in Lumi, therefore? So we've created a platform where young people, such as some of the people you see who are my colleagues here, Calvin from Kenya, who's studying in California, Josh, who's just joined us as part of this program. Um, and they are the people who engage with young people as young as 9 years old, all the way to 17. And what they do is they engage in quests, and each of these quests has 10 people in it, 10 children in it. They can be local or they can be from any part of the world, right? And they are given an interesting global problem. And these problems are linked to the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And then they're asked a question. They're asked a question about, what do you think? Do you really believe that this problem is true? If so, what do you think is the problem? And we take them through really empowering, design thinking led, but moderated journey where they discover the problem. They feel they understand it. They themselves develop their own perspectives on about this challenge. And then they come up with, here's the beautiful thing, they come up with their own ideas on how to solve these problems, at least at a local level. And in less than 1 year, we've had 39 ideas emerge from Lumi's quests from more than 150 children from 13 countries, and 25 of them are under development, and 6 of them have been launched on the App Store as wonderful apps, right? So that is Lumi. Now, what are we asking, getting people? We want people like you to get involved with us in playing important roles, whether it's on technical development, whether it's on marketing, whether it is on content development or facilitation. We want you here because this movement will grow stronger the more we involve young people like you in really meaningful roles here. And to kind of give you an idea of what I mean by a meaningful role, I would like to actually ask Calvin to share his own experience of what he's been able to accomplish and how he's been able to influence young people. Calvin, why don't you share your own story?
All right. Thank you for that. So my name is Calvin. I am from Kenya. As mentioned earlier, I go to school at Minerva Schools at KGI, based in San Francisco. I have been at Lumi 9 months now, and I joined as a facilitator. And over the 9 months, I have been able to facilitate several quests and interacted with many luminaries who have joined us, and seen them grow from just not understanding a problem at all to actually understanding and grasping it, and then coming up with amazing solutions, some of which, as mentioned, have been launched even on the App Store. It's been a journey in terms of learning, because when we started a while ago, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and slowly by slowly you start getting the hang of it, and you actually get to enjoy your work because you're working with these amazing kids who, I promise you, will get to challenge you in ways that you cannot understand. Young 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds dealing with problems that you would think are far beyond their age, but like they really impress. And I think the beauty of it is you getting to work with them is also one way for you to grow yourself. You get to challenge yourself, and also there's this sense of fulfillment because you actually get to shape young minds, because this is an opportunity none of us got at such a young age. And also in this company, I think working with Prashant has been a pleasure. I think you get to learn a lot, especially for aspiring entrepreneurs. You get he gives excellent advice, and guides you through challenges even in your own life. And you get to work with amazing facilitators from all over the world, from Africa, I think, from the US, from South America, even Asia and Europe. And you get to interact with these amazing minds in creating something that would um, definitely one day change the future of how life is right now. Thank you.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, Calvin. So just to kind of clarify for people, really. So essentially, what you're saying, what Lumi does is it kind of arranges all of these kind of quests, virtual quests, with young people all over the world, facilitated by young people all over the world. And essentially, we're looking at all the problems that we have in the world at the moment, or we're about to have, that are about to get even worse, and how can we solve those problems. But unlike kind of being at school where we can all sit around and come up with ideas, what you're trying to do is turn those ideas into reality. And you kind of mentioned that you're taking these ideas, you're creating, and technology is a big part of this as well, isn't it? So kind of creating apps
Yes.
and those sorts of things. Can you guys give us an example of just one of the things that have actually been created as a result of one of the quests?
Yeah, I let me just share my screen and show you that. If I can, here are just 5 out of 25 plus innovations, right? These apps are on all types of different topics. So Kenko is an app that has been developed by girls from Mexico and Spain, which is an app which any of us can have in future. And if we find ourselves witnessing a medical emergency, so for example, somebody has had a cardiac arrest or there's been an accident, the app actually, you can actually use that app and it tells you what to do. You just have to say, I've just seen something. And so rather than crowding around people, we can actually help that person. And also press the button there, which let's say calls 999. Now, so that's one thing which is globally relevant. Connections is an app which is connecting the elderly people from care homes to children in schools in a safeguarded environment. So the elderly people, let's say in Mexico or even in Kenya or India, can actually then interact with these people, teach them English or teach them Spanish, and the children can actually get a learning about history, geography, things like that. Safe Streets is being built by teenagers, and it's an app where teenagers can actually tell each other, "Hey, don't go to South Bank today because there's been a problem, or there's been a this something like that." So therefore, it actually warns teenagers about where not to go because there's some trouble. Solace is an interactive app which is about teaching young people about all forms of inequality so you can eradicate it. And the list goes on and on and on, right? So this is the kind of innovation that is coming out of Lumi. And the important thing here to highlight is you're not going to come here and just be an employee, right? People like Calvin and Josh, you're going to be empowered to bring your own ideas and to take the initiative and be Lumi ambassadors.
Mm.
So that's very, very important. You're not just like, oh, come on, your job is to do this. What can you bring? How can you make Lumi your own? How can you make Lumi fly and learn to fly yourself with it?
Yeah,
That's
it's what we were saying earlier, isn't it? You're not looking for people to come and work for you. You're looking for people to come and work with you. And so I think just what's really interesting. So now, obviously, let's start talking about some of the job opportunities that you've got. But we've got one of those that we advertise. You've already filled, because we have the amazing Josh. Who is it? Your first week? Did you say, Josh, this week?
Yes, yeah, it is.
Yeah, so you're literally kind of, fresh newbie. And so just before we start talking about some of the other roles that are available, just tell us a little bit about your background and what you were doing before before you found this opportunity, and also how you kind of came across it and why you were interested.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, obviously I'm Josh, and I've just started as a front-end developer at Lumi. As far as my background goes, I came out of university for computer science, and then after that started looking for a job, and ended up going into Universal Credit. And at that point, I became aware of the Kickstart scheme, and yeah, pretty much sort of had my choice of what to pick. It was essentially, I get shown a big list, and then whichever companies interest you, I applied for, and Lumi was one of those. I just thought it was just incredibly interesting, but I'm learning more about it, like even in this seminar. But yeah, in the interview, it was very clear to me that it's sort of being driven by some really passionate people, and yeah, that made me confident that I wanted to join.
What do you want to get out of the Kickstart placement?
I suppose initially my goal is just to sort of get some experience, get my sort of career started off. But if there's sort of opportunities to continue to grow within Lumi at the end of that 6 months, then yeah.
Yeah. So just to clarify for anyone who's not sure or isn't aware of how Kickstart works, so you have to be 16 to 24, claiming universal credit, and then you go and speak to your work coach. So for example, if you're really interested at the end of today's session about the opportunities that Lumi has, we'll give you a bit more information about what to do. But essentially, you're going to go to your work coach. You're going to tell them, look, I've heard about these amazing opportunities. I really want to apply. They'll put you forward, and it's a 6-month paid work placement, and then it's kind of fixed term, but if things go well and the business is has the ability, I'm sure they'll have plans to keep a lot of young people on. I know we've got plans to do the same if we can, but absolute worst case scenario, even if it doesn't work out, you'll have an amazing 6 months with an employer, and you'll have all of these skills and knowledge that you didn't have before, and they will prepare you for the next job that's coming up. So talking about Kickstarters, we have our own Kickstarter, Benjamin, who works for New Perspective. He is looking after all of our digital marketing for us, and he's amazing, and he's put today's session together, and he's directing everything and controlling which cameras are on and off. But Benji, maybe just to hear a little bit from you actually about the Kickstart scheme in general, and then I know you've got some specific questions you just want to ask. You want to find out a bit more about the roles that Lumi have available, don't you?
Definitely. Yeah. So as Hanif mentioned, I've been working.
I think it would be nice to have the focus on you instead of me.
Sure.
There we go.
I've been working at New Perspective now for about 2 months as a Kickstarter, and it's been brilliant. I've had already a lot of training and sort of guidance. It's my first role within digital marketing, so I was a bit uneasy coming in, but it's definitely been. I've had a bit of a helping hand from Hanif and the marketing team at New Perspective.
Yeah, I'm just going to stop you really quickly because I'm going to do a plug for Benjamin. So Benjamin is actually an aspiring musician. And what's the name of your band?
Our band name is Dude My Dude.
Dude My Dude. Check them out. They're on Spotify, and you were on the recommended list, right? The hot list.
Yeah, we got added to some Spotify algorithmic playlist, which is exciting.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to do the shameless plug for my Kickstarter. Sure. That's his dream, right? Carry on, Benji, carry on.
Yeah, so I'm aware that obviously Josh snapped up one of the 4 vacant roles at Lumi. So we've got 3 roles which we're going to give a brief overview of today. So the first one is digital marketing and communications. Then there's internal and external outreach and the operations role. So I think the audience would just like to know a little bit about the roles and the application process and sort of the company working culture at Lumi and what should be expected from the applicants. So perhaps let's start with the digital marketing and communications role.
Thank you, Benji. By the way, very impressive. Very impressive. And I think before I get into the specific roles, I just want to talk about the type of person that we're looking for and why we chose Josh. So no one here is expecting you to be experts in your fields. Okay, so we're not going to judge you on what you haven't or haven't done. We're looking for attitude. We're looking for entrepreneurial energy, initiative. That if you can take that, then we know that whatever field you choose or you're passionate about, we'll help you make it a success. And when it comes to digital marketing, see, Lumi by definition is a global and virtual organization, right? So digital marketing becomes central to it. At the moment, Calvin is actually doing quite a lot of the work in that direction. But to summarize, the digital marketing role will require this person to come in, quite like you, Benji, learn some of it. But I think for this generation, for your generation, this is not learning, right? You live and breathe social media and digital, right? Not like me. I have to think, oh yeah, let me log into Snapchat. So you will be responsible for promoting Lumi to the world through digital channels. Now, there are three parts to that. One is brand building, okay? But startups need less of brand building. They need more of how can we acquire customers through that, right? How can we actually acquire talented people to come and work with us? So there is brand building, there is customer acquisition, which means trying to talk about our quests, go to different segments where we believe people will get interested and come to us. And the third and the most important thing I think at this stage is community building. How can we build a community of people who actually love Lumi? And there's a lot of that which Lumi is actually quite attractive for. So that's what you will do. You are going to be doing these three things. You're going to be working with me very closely. You're going to be working with people like Calvin. You're going to be working with people like Josh, because on the front end side, Josh will be thinking about the website and also the customer experience, and so on and so forth. So that's the digital marketing and communications role.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And just to kind of clarify, let's say you're looking through CVs, for example, for that digital marketing role, what sort of things are you looking out for? Because like you said, you're not really looking for someone who is necessarily an expert in the field. At the end of the day, these are Kickstart roles. You're looking for kind of attitude and passion and certain values. What is it that you're looking out for specifically? What would catch your eye on an application?
I think anybody who has used digital media or social media to deliver something which they're passionate about. So for example, like let's take you, Benji, right? You've used digital channels to promote music, your own music, right? So if you've done anything like that, that tells us that you understand how to use these channels for good, but also for promoting whatever you're passionate about. So we're looking for that. And if you've done some work in that area and you've got some kind of a portfolio, wow, that's great. But that's not what we are, going to specifically look for. And I think the other thing is, whatever you do, if you have some understanding of how different parts of the world are operating on digital channels, that's also very helpful to us. Right? Some international perspective, some evidence of work you've done in this space, and then a great attitude. So you can actually just learn and make it happen with us. These are the three things.
Yeah, almost probably in reverse order, I imagine. Like the attitude is number one for you, isn't
Yeah,
it? That's the most
that's
important
true.
thing. And like you were saying, it's about not just about kind of having a work attitude, but having an entrepreneurial mindset where you're essentially like really good at solving problems, right? And kind of have that energy and drive. No, that's amazing. That's an amazing opportunity. But Benji, what have we got up next?
Yeah, so the next job is the internal and external outreach. So I just wanted to ask, in particular with this role, how does this role, how is it expected to support the current goals that Lumi is aspiring towards?
See, this is directly responsible for linked to our goals, right? So, what is the thing that startup needs? It needs fuel, it needs growth, right? So, what internal and external outreach does is you become the person who actually is reaching out on our behalf to schools, to companies, along with me. So you'll constantly get direction from me and from some of the other team members. But this is again a very strategic role. Right, so we have lots and lots of presentations, materials, videos that we have, but it is knowing what to send to who. It is using some of our internal materials, creating some interesting things out of it, and actually then sharing it with our with 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 a wider community outside. This person will work closely with the digital marketing person, right? But this role is more about you send an email to somebody in a company or you send an email to somebody in a school, and then you are interacting with them along with me. So that is what it is. But what is the outcome that will come out of it? If this role is done well, then it'll lead us to getting more schools to work with us, more companies to work with us, and more customers actually coming and joining the Lumi's quests.
Yeah, and then all of that will lead to a better world, right? Solving all these problems.
That's true, yes, because every quest that Lumi does comes out with 2 or 3 new innovations. So it actually really does. Like if we do 100, we know that there are 300 solutions that have emerged. Even if 10 of them go all the way, which means that they are actually real apps being used by people in the local communities, or their websites, or campaigns, or something else. Well, that's real impact, right? I mean, we can influence 10,000 people straight away through those 100 quests.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. The internal outreach part is also quite important because Lumi is a network. We want to make sure that we are doing things to build our internal community. So events like these, we want to be running inside our organization. That's the internal outreach. Now, making sure we're learning from each other, making sure that we are actually using our internal resources to create stories and then to share it with the outer world, along with the digital marketing people.
Brilliant. And that leaves us with the last role, which is operations. So could you tell us a little bit about sort of day-to-day responsibilities of this role?
Yeah, so the operations role is a role which I personally think I actually again spend a lot of time with the operations team. It's one without which things will fall apart. We all have these fancy ideas of how companies are brilliant, but the operation roles has 3 parts to it, without which the company will fail. Any company. Here, the first thing that the person does is responsible for customer experience to make sure that people are aware of when the quest is, what is happening, um, the whole management side. So this is like an event management role almost. Think about it like that. The second part is that we want to make sure that we are actually the financial side, which is customers are actually being sent an invoice to pay, and then we are receiving the money. Right? That's an important part of this role. And the third thing is anything else that is just required to make sure that the Lumi and the young people and their parents are always aware of what needs to be done to make these things a success, that this operations role has to do. um, and we have had 1 or 2 people who have done this role very effectively, so you will be guided by those people. You're not going to be alone in this. And we are getting more and more technology to support us. So you're not going to be doing these things manually. You will be given access to tools and things like that to be able to do that. But Benji, there is a fourth role as well. So we have 5 roles.
Okay.
The fourth role here is of a full stack developer.
Okay.
I just want to clarify exactly. So full stack developer and designer is someone who has done some tech development, right? And what it means is that you're able to either help the luminaries, which is basically the participants, the young people who participate in the quests, develop their solutions, or you are able to help work in Lumi to help us develop our own tools and solutions. So, for example, we're going to be working with on creating our own platform where we can deliver these quests. We are creating some of our own tools which can make life easier for our participating teams and things like that. So that's the fifth role or the fourth role here, because one of them has been filled.
Brilliant. I think it would be useful to just speak briefly about everyday work culture at Lumi. So I understand that all of these roles are fully remote and that you have employees all around the world. Could you maybe throw out a few cities, a few countries where your employees are based?
So at the moment in Lumi, we have, like, Calvin is joined from Kenya. We have people in San Francisco. We have people in India. We have people right now. They were based in Berlin. We have people. Where else, Calvin, are some of our facilitators based at the moment?
We have also Egypt.
Yes, we have people from Cairo, and and other than that, some of our facilitators, because they study at this university called Minerva KGI, they actually end up in a different city every few months. So we've also had people from Mexico, from Argentina, from Australia, and from Singapore. So you have a very diverse team, but there are 3 epicenters in Lumi, 3 principal places from where our CTO is based in India. That's one center where the technology focus will be there. Then we have California as a big hub where a lot of our facilitators and one of our key team members, 2 of our key team members are based, and the third is London. Right? So these are the 3. Now, in terms of the culture, Benji, it's a very good point. The culture is still forming. There are 2 or 3 things that I think are very central to Lumi. One is empowerment, right? Now it's a big word. What does it mean? It means we give you freedom and we trust you, right? Um, that is an extremely important part of that we don't treat any young person as, oh, we have to teach him or her, and we have to make sure that we are doing enough to guide you and giving you all the support, but we trust you that you know enough to make a difference in Lumi. So that's empowerment. Second is velocity. That means things happen here quickly. So you have to get used to a startup. You've got to get used to the fact that this is a global company and it's a fast growing company, right? So therefore, you will often find things are moving pretty quickly. I don't know, Josh, if you felt like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right? We're already talking about putting you into this and that. We'll do this or that. And, and what we've been impressed by is that you've come back and actually pushed us and say, well, for this to happen, can I have this? Can I have that? Which is really, really helpful.
I'm
So
very eager to get started.
yeah. So I think that's what that's the second part of the culture. The third part of the culture is, it sounds cheesy when I say it, but it is love and affection, because we are working with young children, right? 9 years of age, 12, 13. You can't make this too complicated. There's a lot of affection in Lumi, affection coming from children towards the facilitators, affection from facilitators towards the young people because they are helping them build their solutions. Parents love Lumi, schools love Lumi, and we love the fact that we are in a position, luckily, to be able to deliver some really, really interesting ideas and actually help change young people's minds and their careers in this case. So those are two, three things that immediately I could say, but I would invite Calvin for you to say what are the other things that you find about our culture. I know I'm putting you on a spot, like you put a lot of people on spot.
No, no, it's good. I think culture is something that is evolving every now and then, and at times it's more of an imagined property based, depending on the people who join. And I think from the facilitators we've had and we currently have right now, one thing you sort of realize is there's a lot of initiative that takes place and a lot of ownership of like ideas and projects. You will find facilitators even in their first few weeks saying, hey, I want to try out this new idea. And as I said, there's a lot of empowerment, so you actually get to do that. So I'd say initiative is really key. It's really a defining factor, especially since it's one of the early stages of the company, and everyone wants to have their own identity imprinted into the company. And because of empowerment, it actually you're allowed to do that.
Yeah. And there is one fourth thing, which is we are not here to judge you. We are here to support you. So it's like we know that I make mistakes. Okay. As long as we're not defensive about it, we're learning from each other and we're supporting each other. That's important. All of you young people who are starting out your journeys, right? When I was at your stage, I was quite scared. What if I make a mistake? What will happen? Right? Or I used to get defensive. There's no need for that. I think we have to create an environment where people feel like they can express themselves and they can even challenge me or anybody in the company saying, I think this can be done differently. That culture is very, very important so that we create a company where there's no fear, but there is a little bit of a camaraderie. The people feel like they can express themselves, they enjoy themselves. And when something goes wrong, we don't blame constantly and create stress for each other. We try and say, okay, now what do we do now? Right? Um, Now, this is important. With empowerment comes responsibility. So we need that you to understand that, hey, we're putting you out there, but we're also there to support you if something sometimes goes wrong.
That's brilliant. I mean, it sounds like a fantastic place to work. Josh is his first week. He's definitely in for a ride. And we were saying we've even on this call we've got from Coventry to Kenya, on the call. So it's definitely an international organization. And I think just something for us to mention, Prashant, really is because as kind of like the older people in the room is that international element is so important now because that's the way the world is going. It pretty soon it won't matter. Like already now, people are already heading towards that direction. There'll always be businesses and employers who need local people. That's not going to change because of the nature of what they do. But increasingly, as the world starts using more and more technology and we become even more kind of interconnected, the ability to be able to understand what's happening in the rest of the world and to be able to work with people all over the world, that's going to be an amazing skill set for anybody to have. So yeah, amazing opportunities. Just really to summarize, it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, what you're really after are young people who are passionate about they see the problems in the world, but they want to fix them. Whether they're facilitators or whether they're the operations person who's holding they're the glue, aren't they, that hold the organization together. They all need to be passionate about making a difference in the world and making the world a better place. They need to have a lot of energy. They need to be ready to move quickly. They need to be ready to find solutions themselves with some guidance from everybody else who's around them. And they need to have a lot of empathy as well. That's the kind of young people that you're looking for, and young people who aren't afraid to make mistakes. I was saying to the guys just in the green room, if you like, before the call, Calvin was mentioning he wants to be an entrepreneur and those sorts of things, and I said, listen, enjoy the journey. You're going to make a lot of mistakes along the way, but they're amazing mistakes because you learn and you grow. So that's what you're looking for, isn't it? That's the kind of young people that you're looking for.
Yeah, come and express yourself. Come and actually learn with us. Come and help us learn, right? Now, I wanted to, Hanif, if we have 2 minutes, I
Yeah, go
wanted
for
to
it.
actually just share this video that we created, which actually explains Lumi, but it is coming from my son, who's actually the junior co-founder,
Yeah.
who's been working very closely with Calvin over the last few months.
So I think the only thing we'll have to be careful of is sometimes when we share the video on a screen share, the audio doesn't come through. So I'm not. We can try, but I'll let you know if I can't hear it on the audio here.
Yeah,
And maybe the
I
other
think
guys can as
that's,
well.
there is a setting here which is
Yeah.
share audio. So I
Go
think
for it.
you will be fine. We've suffered that problem enough in.
Brilliant.
So listen to this.
Prashant, I'm based in London.
My name is Nick Hill. I'm 11 years old, and I'm the junior co-founder.
And we have two other co-founders based in California and India. Lumi is an open innovation learning platform that works with young minds, schools, and corporates from all across the world. We run fun-filled and engaging quests that expose young minds to the greatest problems that humanity faces today, and then encourages and guides them in moderated sessions to come up with their own solutions to that and to then execute. The ideas are not just supposed to end into projects as projects, but become viable concepts in their own right. Lumi started during the coronavirus, right? When we got invited to a mini quest.
Yeah, in that mini quest, I worked with a few people and we learned a bit more about the pandemic, and we thought of mini solutions and how to fix the issues, and we made friends along the way, and it was really a spark to the whole idea of Lumi. So you start by introducing yourselves, learning about each other and your superpowers, what you're good at. You join 1.5 hour calls once a week. And in the first phase, the ideation phase, you learn about issues and problems that the world faces. In the creation phase, the next one, you start to develop these ideas in teams. In the final phase, you start to release them into the world by starting smaller with friends and family and then expanding them into the world.
And at each stage, you are being guided by facilitators who at the moment are coming from universities in California and also the UK, and soon from other parts of the world, and also by experts who know these topics very well, and mentors.
The children really look forward to the quests and don't think of it as work, because there's a various variety of activities we do, including quizzes, discussing in breakout rooms, and all these things to help us learn. And people really enjoy it much more than they thought they would have. And they feel open to say what they think is right, and they don't think they get judged.
And we have got children from 12 countries, and we'll soon have more than 100 people from across the world. But not a single child misses it. They turn up on their own. Across the world, the parent feedback has been consistent and in cases overwhelmingly positive. One of the parents said, look, I wasn't sure if my son would really like it. And I expected him to last 10 minutes. But when we came back after an hour, he was buzzing.
We want it to become bigger and not just be a small thing where people learn and create solutions but don't really do anything about it.
We want to build 1 million change leaders, entrepreneurs, and inventors who then go on to become the luminaries like you.
So I hope that actually gives you an idea of what Lumi is really about. I just wanted to feel that emotion, because no matter what we say, you need to feel from your heart that this is a good place for you to come and work with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And just seeing all those kids and, seeing how not just happy they were, but how engaged. Essentially, you're looking for people who can make that happen. You want to scale that up and make this happen all over the world, right? And so you've got to be passionate about this. So now let's go into just really quickly about kind of how people will apply. So the first thing to mention is there's details just down there. Hopefully you can see kind of jobs.nptraining.co.uk. If you go in there, you will find details of Lumi's vacancies, and you can go to your work coach and basically just tell them, listen, I've seen these vacancies. You can maybe even give them the link to the page and say, look, I really want to apply for this. What do I need to do? Just something to mention, just a little bit of a technicality. When your work coach is looking on the system, they won't find the vacancy under Lumi. They'll find it under the kind of company name, which is Commingle Limited. That's right, isn't it, Prashant?
Yes.
So we've put that on the post, hopefully on the jobs website. But just that's just something to mention. Commingle Limited is the name of the company. That is Lumi. And so you'll ask them. They'll basically give you details of how to apply. And I believe it's that they'll be asked to send a CV and cover letter to a certain email address. That's right, isn't it? And so Prashant, just really quickly, just as we're kind of wrapping up, what would be your kind of top tips for young people who are interested in applying when they're putting their CV and cover letter together?
I think just talk about what you why you're applying, why are you interested, because your attitude and motivation. You can also talk about what you've done clearly. Talk about, and don't be afraid to mention even the smallest things you've done. Right, everything matters. Don't be shy about selling yourself. And then what do you want to get out of this? In your cover letter, just say what do you want to get out of this, and act quickly, because we're getting a lot of interest. And I mentioned velocity or speed as one of the key things. So don't think too much. Come talk to us, and we'll tell you if this is a good fit.
Fantastic. And I'm just going to give everyone the top tip. The number one reason why people don't get the job that they're after is because they don't apply. So don't be afraid. I know so many people who just, I really want that job, and then they get scared and then they don't apply. Don't be afraid. Get the application in, and then whatever's meant to be is meant to be. And if nothing else, you'll gain experience just from the application process. And actually, on the website jobs.nptraining.co.uk, if you look on the menu, there's a few articles that we've got on there on tips and tricks on how to do your CV and your cover letter as well. And also there's another one on there about how to set up your LinkedIn profile, which is super important. So look, what else do you need to do? Go to jobs.nptraining.co.uk, look up the details, give the details to your work coach. You've got tips and tricks on how to put your CV and cover letter together, and just get the application in, because if you don't, there's already a queue. Josh has already been in front of the queue. He's already got in there before everybody else, before this went live. So yeah, just if you're interested, definitely get your application in. Prashant, and I think maybe just Josh and Calvin, actually, just love to hear a few words from you each, just in kind of summary. I think we'll start with Prashant, then we'll go to Josh as the new guy, and then we'll go to the amazing Calvin, if that's all right. Prashant, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, just all I would say is, like Hanif has mentioned, don't be scared to apply. Please apply. Please act quickly, and we are so looking forward to receiving your applications and to working with you, because this is, as I said, I started by saying this is a movement. I'm finishing by saying this is a movement. This is a global network. Come become a part of it and actually launch your career with us and through us. So thank you also to everybody here who's actually made this possible. Because without this, I think we'll still be looking around searching for people in the dark.
Josh, over to you, buddy. Why do you think, maybe just a few words of encouragement, because you've been through the process, what would you say to anyone who's looking to apply?
Yeah, I'd say obviously I'm very fresh, but I'm just very excited so far to get started, and I've found the whole process pretty easy, and Prashant has helped make it smooth and has got back to me straight away, and yeah, all I can say is I'm looking forward to starting.
Fantastic, brilliant. And Calvin, my man, you have the last word. Inspire everyone to apply.
Oh, the pressure, the last words. It's, as I said, it's an amazing opportunity. Don't miss out. At least apply. Whether or not you get it, as I said, the only reason you don't get it is because you don't apply. And since this is the I have to give, because of the pressure of the last word, I say the one other reason you should join is join and help me teach Prashant about Snapchat, because he has never been able to learn the difference between Snapchat and Instagram. So
It's not just Prashant, I'm telling you. So
yeah.
I set up my Snapchat account the other day for the first time. I don't know. What the hell is it about? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I might give up.
Yeah, because I help, as I said, I help run some of the digital marketing, and every time it's like, have you posted on Snapchat? And I'm like, I don't think we have a Snapchat account yet, but like, if anyone joins, maybe we can actually start a Snapchat account just for him. Yeah, so yeah, all the best in your applications.
Yeah, and look, I think the final word is, if you apply, if you get the job, you get to work with the likes of Prashant, Josh, Calvin, and many more people like that. So look,
And one more thing, Hanif.
Go on, Prashant.
Yeah, sorry, one more thing to mention. You know, nearly 50% of Lumi's team is actually women, and from very diverse backgrounds. I just want to make that point very, very clear.
It's all
because of
guys here, right, on this screen, but yeah.
Yeah, so this is an extremely important point. 50% of our facilitators are women from all of the different countries. So 50% of our participants from 13 countries are actually girls. So and there is no concept of where you come from, what gender, who you are. We just care about, if you want to give us your time and trust us to deliver and help you build your career, we will get that done. And you just come and express yourself here. We are keen on having as diverse a team as possible.
Yeah, look, what else is there to say? If you're interested, you've got no excuses anymore. jobs.nptraining.co.uk. Get the application in, speak to your work coach, get the application in. Nothing more to be said, because now it's time for action. So look, we're going to leave you with that thought, and look up both New Perspective and Lumi on all the social media networks. We'll try and put some of the links into the ad if we haven't got it. The website is lumi.network. So www.lumi.network. Go and check them out. All the socials that are on there. Hopefully Snapchat will be on there soon as well. So amazing. Thanks everyone for taking your time out for joining us, and fingers crossed to get some amazing applications in. All right, guys, take care and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.